Hey, what up, everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you. Probably 10 or 12 hours removed from watching Impact. I've honestly listened to the Brian and Vinny show, listened to the awesome Impact review that they did on the show there. And I thought that, honestly, Brian Alvarez did a good job comparing, what is going on in TNA right now to the last dying days of WCW. If you go back and you relive the angles that was going down, every pay-per-view that WCW did, Scott Steiner would beat one of the major stars, and then after the match was over, would beat them into oblivion to the point of where they left and they never came back again. For a month. He beat up Booker T, DDP, Kevin Nash, to the point where the roster was just dwindling down and down and down. And in the past couple of weeks, we've seen Jeff Hardy quit, we've seen AJ Styles' contract end, and I haven't looked into anything yet because I want to be surprised when I watch this show again next week. I have no idea why I'm giving them this chance. The only reason that I know of is that it's TNA. It's the only wrestling that's on Thursday nights. And I like to watch wrestling. Even though I hated last night's show so much, I feel like it was totally a minor Bush League thing to do to try and pull off what they call a pay-per-view that their television network is grateful enough to buy for all of us. I mean, they never really acted like they took a step backwards with the pay-per-view. They always sort of made it seem like, these are still pay-per-views that basically, you're getting for free. That, we should be thankful that we're getting these shows. And honestly, if that show would have went down, even with those finishes, and they would have given us the Angle versus Rude cage match, and they would have given us the Gunner versus James Storm, it probably would have been a better show. And it probably, instead of us being mad at the company itself, people would be mad at the finish that happened, about Sting being screwed, and not, begging Sting to leave the company and head over to WWE. But having a night to sleep on it and listening to some things on the internet, I know what Big Dave Meltzer said on the mailbag yesterday was that WWE thinks they have Sting pretty much all but signed on the dotted line. They think they've got him, to agree to a deal to come over, whether if it's for WrestleMania, whether if it's for the Hall of Fame, and just basically to retire under the WWE's name, where they can sell some merchandise. They can put out a DVD, this, that, or the other, and not have to fear about him still wrestling for Impact on Thursday nights and being their competition. I don't think Sting's going. I mean, I was all excited yesterday. I was thinking that we were going to get to see a match that we were never going to get to see, and I don't know. I honestly think, especially with the way that Davey and Eddie came in and they started this whole storyline, how TNA now has this magical secret investor. It brings you back to the days where Stephanie and Shane, they had to sell their stock in order to buy WCW and buy ECW, and then Ric Flair came in and he was the news guy who was owning the WWE with Vince McMahon. And that storyline, it ran for a good little while, and it had its legs, and then they cut its legs off, probably at the right time. And then, basically, Rick became his own, I guess he became a wrestler instead of a talker. And, that worked out for him in the long run. But I still think that this company is going to be living, and this company is going to be on Spike TV. Spike TV is going to make sure that they have stars on this network. How they've helped out with the Angle deal, how they've helped out with the Sting deal. They're going to make sure that they have some name recognition there. For the last little while, since the day he signed, whether that's back in 2010, Jeff Hardy has always been their star. He has been the most popular guy in the company. AJ Styles has been the lifeblood of that company. Sting has been like the legend of the company. I think they're going to make sure that they keep all of those guys. Especially they're going to keep Sting until the day he really wants to hang up those boots. And I mean, like, if he's sporadically on TV throughout the year, and he only wrestles, let's say if he wrestles on every, we'll call them pay-per-views, big shows, I mean, that's 12 matches a year. And he's not always going to be cycled in on what's going on. So maybe 10 matches a year for this guy. And I don't think his matches as of late have been great, but they haven't been bad. So, I mean, if the guy wants to keep wrestling, let him keep wrestling. And, especially if that's what it's going to take to keep TNA around. So, basically, I don't think Sting's going. I wouldn't be surprised if Sting does lose next week. But that only means that the contract that he was negotiating with Dixie Carter will get ripped up and he won't be able to sign that one. But then won't just the other secret investor to TNA, wouldn't he be able to sign Sting just like he could sign AJ, just like he already signed Davey and Eddie? It just sort of makes sense on what's going down. He could even sign Hardy. And then you have all of them come back for the Lockdown pay-per-view. Because Lockdown is actually going to be a pay-per-view, and you actually get to have some stars there. And I think they are actually building up to a rude face turn somewhere along the way. He's just being congratulated for being so bad, and I'm sure that, even though he is the guy that, did the dirty work, and he's going to get the bonus from Dixie Carter, in the long run, Rude, as this guy, has always wanted to be the champion. Ever since he lost the championship, he's always wanted the belt. And he's been working hard to get there. And if Magnus is the guy, how are you going to get Rude versus Magnus if they're both heels? I think he has to turn. So, I think that's about it. I don't know. Sting versus Magnus. It's going to be a big match. A lot of people are going to be talking about it. I guess they did it last night. So, I haven't heard the rumor. I guess people haven't been reading what happened, or maybe people read it and they're just not saying it. But hopefully I can keep it a secret until next week and see what goes down. I was thinking last night's match was going to be his last match in TNA. And it turns out he taped a match, and it's going to be next week. Sting versus Magnus. It's going to be a big one. Let's see what goes down.